not the first time you have been positioned in Thailand.
No, certainly not.
Okay. So how was your first impression of Thailand?
Well, my first impression of Thailand, and that's 20 years ago.
Okay.
And it's really 20 years ago. I moved to Thailand in 1998 for the first time for a period of 3.5 years, then working for an embassy of a European Union member state. Now I represent the Union as a whole. I was then, of course, a much younger diplomat. I must say that I fell in love with Thailand in those days, and I fell in love with the Thailand I got to know. It was a country of fantastic people, and you really saw the potential of this country, the potential for the future. At the same time, I fell in love with the culture of the country and so the deep historical roots of Thailand. So I think that from the beginning of my relationship with the Kingdom of Thailand, my impressions have only been positive.
So it sounds like Thailand has been treating you quite well so far.
Thailand has treated me quite well so far, I have to say. Of course, now 20 years later, our relationship, the EU-Thailand relationship, is more challenging. And of course, the European Union is different. I was then representing a member state. If you look at the last 20 years and the depth of integration, the creation of what you'd call a common foreign and security policy for the European Union, first a high representative, then the Lisbon Treaty. So of course the parameters of my return are very different from where I was at that stage. But the love for the country has stayed. The warmth is very much there, and I don't mean the climate at this moment.
It's also there.
It's also there. A bit more unstable than it used to be due to global warming. But it's a country I've been following, and it's a country I have also visited between my two postings. So, very well.
I understand that every time the diplomat will move to different countries, there must be some kind of warning of sensitive issues.
Yes.
What would be the sensitive things that they warn you about Thailand? Can you tell us?
Well, if you're talking about sensitive issues for a diplomat, well, I think that you can talk about sensitivities from many viewpoints. You can talk about cultural sensitivities, and there, of course, there are many.
Right.
I come from Eastern Europe, where I was ambassador in a country called the Republic of Moldova earlier. I worked, after I left Thailand, mainly on the former Soviet Union, in countries where, let's say, the communication culture was rather direct.
Okay.
And of course, and I think that I was even looking very much forward to coming back to Thailand so that I could communicate somewhat softer than I have done and still be understood. So communication, that's one of the sensitivities. But if you look at diplomatic sensitivities and where we've been, so I think that the main issue, and I think it goes without saying, is that our relationship with the kingdom since the military takeover in 2014 has been not quite straightforward. It's been a bit complicated. And now you see that we have a hope of gradual re-engagement, and a re-engagement which I'm personally very, very committed to. But everything around this was, of course, when I came, the biggest sensitivity.
Right. Can I ask you, what get you into this line of work?
I knew this line of work.
Okay.
I felt very comfortable with it. My grandfather was a career diplomat. My father was a senior United Nations official in basically international labor relations. My mother was a politician. So I think that my own stars were aligned in that way, that even if my parents were always saying to me that no, do your own thing. I mean, don't follow what we're doing. And were never trying to push me to this. Looked around and said, hey, I want to be a diplomat. I think this is the most